Welcome to Bearcat Update. I'm your host, Jenny James, and we have a new addition to Bearcat Update this semester, Alex Sanchez. Hey. Oh. This past weekend wasn't only family weekend, but also a weekend full of recognition. From Amy Worth on her 100th win to Mel Churchma into the College Football Hall of Fame.
Absolutely. Not only did we honor those who are still with Northwest, but those who are no longer with us. Our reporter Becca Ross got the inside scoop on former coach Scott Bostwick and what his legacy means to the football team.
Coach Bostwick played a major role as part of the Northwest football team. With sights set on being the 2011 head coach, he unfortunately passed away before coaching his first game.
Coach Bostwick, he passed away in 2011, right before he coached his first football game as head coach at Northwest Missouri State. He's been a longtime member of the staff here at Northwest, and a lot of people that worked with Scott are still upstairs coaching today. Rich, Joel Osborne, Coach Floor, Chad, all those guys. He has a lasting impact here at Northwest Missouri State.
In order to keep the memory of such an important person to this team alive, there have been many things done in remembrance of him.
There's still a lot of things that Scott put in place here at Northwest are still prevalent today. One of Scott's sayings was, "The big time is where you're at." And there's a lot of members here on staff that take that to heart. I mean, we put our heart and soul into what we do here at Northwest. And, Scott was a big proponent on having the families come down on the field after every game. If you think about it, not too many other schools do that. And so it's pretty neat, for the players to see their families and the members of the community to come up to the student athletes. And it's just a great family atmosphere here at Northwest.
Coach Wright was able to share some insight on just who Coach Scott Bostwick was.
There's so much little symbolism that is still around our program today that shows his presence. The black jerseys that we wear. I remember vividly the day that we were sitting up in the conference room at school, and we were talking about, that was going to be his present to the team as his first year as a head coach. And so I remember the day that we unveiled those jerseys and the kids didn't know. The red paw coming out of the tunnel and seeing all the red that surrounds the stadium.
With Family Weekend meaning so much not only to the team but to the fans, they use this game as a way to honor him.
Every year for the Family Weekend game, we do the red paws. To symbolize Scott always wore a red hat on the sideline. He was a signal caller, so the guys on the field couldn't miss him. They could always see the signs, and we put that into a red paw. We took it a step further this year. On the back bumpers of each helmet, we're going to have his actual signature, and so nice and red writing, symbolizes the red hat. His handwriting on the back. It's pretty neat.
While he may not be with the team in person, he will always be with the team in mind and spirit. For Bearcat Update, I'm Becca Ross.
Thanks, Becca. The Northwest football team took control of Bearcat Stadium on Saturday, rolling over Missouri Southern.
And we were there to get the highlights. The Bearcats score early as Josh Caldwell runs it in from 7 yards out to put Northwest up 7-0. The Cats were not even close to done as Braden Wright drops back and delivers a 75-yard pass to Sean Bain to put Northwest up 14-0. The Bearcats scoring montage continue as Braden Wright tucks and runs for an 8-yard touchdown to increase the lead 21-0. Here's that man, Sean Bain again, as he returns an 88-yard punt for a touchdown as Northwest runs away with the game. With 588 total yards and 31 first downs later, the Bearcats defeat the Lions 63-0.
The Cats held the Lions to only 187 total yards and 11 first downs. The team will use this momentum as they head to Edmond, Oklahoma to face Central Oklahoma on Saturday.
This win moves the Bearcats to 3-0 on the season to top the MIAA conference right alongside Pitt State. This is the Cats' 100th win since 2010.
And speaking of 100 wins, volleyball's coach Worth hit her 100th career win last week. Adding to that, the team opened up conference play last Friday at home against Lindenwood. Let's take a look. They started this series hitting 500 in the first set. Maddie Bruder and Sophia Schleppenbach helped lead the team to their 51 kills overall. Olivia Nowakowski achieved a match-high 13 digs. The girls take the win in 3 games. Saturday, they play UCM with the same result. They leave the weekend with a 10-3 overall record and 2-0 in conference. Northwest jumps to 4th in conference right behind Pitt State.
The Cats will keep rolling as they head into the rivalry game against Missouri Western on Tuesday. Later in the week, they head down south to take on Missouri Southern and Southwest Baptist. We are going to take a quick break, but stick around. We've got a special guest up next. You're watching Bearcat Update on KNWT Channel 8. The Northwest quarterback situation is always a hot topic. Coach Wright has put the ball in Braden Wright's hands to lead the team as a freshman. On the show today, we have Jonathan Baker, former Bearcat quarterback. Jonathan, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Good to see you guys again.
So, from your perspective, kind of how's the Northwest team looking to you?
Well, hey, great as always. You know me, always pulling for them, and I think, you know, with the way they started the season with the freshman quarterback in Braden, and as well as I know him, I know he's an obvious playmaker for the team. So you're going to have some bumps in the road with someone that inexperienced, but you can just see very naturally him slowly take leadership of the team week by week, and I think it shows.
And how do you think he's doing as a quarterback, and how do you think he'll do in the future?
I think with someone that young, he's got a very rare opportunity in Northwest history. You know, if you look back at all Bearcat teams going back to Mel Churchman days, you know, freshman quarterbacks don't normally start. So he's got a very rare opportunity, but I know him personally. I know his work ethic, and he's someone who's definitely earned the right to do it, to be that guy. And like I said, there's going to be bumps in the road. He'll tell you that. The coaching staff will tell you that. But the great thing about Northwest is we have such great weapons around him. We have such a great defense that we can allow that to happen just because he's only going to get better. You know, sophomore, junior, senior year, imagine how, you know, great he's going to be just because of this first year being under center.
I think it's really exciting to see him kind of grow into that role, but more on you. So you just got back recently from being overseas playing football.
Yeah.
Just kind of talk about your experience over there.
For sure, yeah. I was in Paris, France for 6 months from January until June, and then left there for an opportunity in Finland to finish out my career this season. Amazing opportunity, kind of got some interest after the season last fall from a couple teams, and just asking if I'd be interested to play some more football. And of course, looking into it, I was like, yeah, you know, I think that would be a great opportunity for me. And so my family was behind me 100%. So I left in January and had a great season in France, thanks to the team I was on and just the situation. And luckily that led to another opportunity to join a team in Finland and finish out their season. So it was a great 9 months and something I'll never forget for sure.
Awesome. And how's it looking for you? You still doing football in the future?
Yeah, so thankfully, because of the season I had in Finland, the team wants me back, and I had some other interest across Europe, but just looking at all my options, I think it was the best fit for me to just return to the team and have a nice fit there. So I have an entire off season, so it'll be nice to be here watching football, kind of getting ready, finding a job, and then I'll return in April.
So how different has that experience been for you compared to like playing here in the U.S.?
It's very different, very challenging in different aspects of it. You know, being a collegiate athlete is always challenging, but this just brings different dynamics to it. I had to be the offensive coordinator for both my teams, so I'm the coach. I'm kind of leading the guys, you know, trying to teach them some different schemes with the offense and trying to put them in good positions. So you do kind of get that aspect of being a player and being a coach, and it's challenging, but you know, when your team's successful and you come in, you make a difference, it's very rewarding as well.
And did you play with a lot of Americans, or was it just mostly Europeans?
Yes, in France, every league's different. They have a lot of different rules over there, but in France, I played with one other American, and in Finland, 2 other Americans. But the cool thing about both those teams is they'll bring in other players from just other countries, so you really do start to realize how big the game of football is over there. I should say American football when we're talking about in Europe. And you get to see, you know, the widespread of talent, and you get to see where people come from and their backgrounds and how seriously they take the game of football, because, you know, to keep playing it, especially in Europe, you really have to love it and have a passion for it. And so that was very cool to see, and kind of makes you love the game of football, you know, even more, because you get to see the passion that they have for it.
Well, JB, it was awesome to see you over there, just getting to be successful and do what you love. But thanks for joining us today. That's all the time we got for Bearcat Boulevard. We're going to take a quick break, but stick around. We've got more to come.
Welcome back to Bearcat Update. With a new coach and training methods, the cross-country team is making strides.
Last Saturday, they headed to Lincoln, Nebraska for the Woody Greeno Invitational. Reporter Juwan Bush caught up with some of the runners to see what their season has in store for them.
West Missouri cross-country team are in their second meet of the year under their new coach, Nick Gibson.
Yeah, Coach Gibson, he's a young guy. It's a new change, but we love him. All the cross-country guys have really bought into what he's doing. His training's great, and I think we're going to progress and get better as the year goes on. So, him and Coach Wood Cunningham, the GA, they just kind of worked together just to build off what we had this summer. Coach Wick was training us over the summer, but really what he's brought is just energy and just a new communication where you just know exactly what the plan is for each day and what we're trying to get out of with a lot more speed development than we're used to as well. So it's going to be good just to maintain it running fast and build that base as well. So.
As with new coaches, Northwest has provided a new indoor facility that will come in handy this season and for many more seasons in the future.
Not traveling is a huge thing for anybody. If you can travel, come in fresh, not be sitting on a bus for 4 or 5 hours just to get in a hot race, it's going to be awesome. December 7th is what we open up with. It's going to be a hot 5K, so it's going to be great for the distance guys for sure. Plus, just the training in there over the winter is going to be awesome too. So better 300 indoor. It's one of the best ones in the Midwest. It's just going to be ideal just for speed workouts, and just continue to build. I'm sure we'll get outside for longer intervals and stuff, but running fast on the track, you can't simulate that on the roads in cold weather. So getting hot and just getting after it on the track is going to be sweet.
The Bearcats' next meet is in Arkansas Chili Pepper Festival in Fayetteville, Arkansas, next weekend. And I'm Juwan Bush for Bearcat Update.
Thanks, Juwan. Our fall sports are killing it as they get deeper into their schedules. They are going to be challenged this week as they travel to take on some rivals. Let's take a look at our top picks for this week.
My pick has to be the Northwest volleyball team, who takes on Mo West on Tuesday in Bearcat Arena at 7.
And on Saturday, the Bearcat football team will travel to Central Oklahoma to take on the Broncos.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Bearcat Update. You can follow us on Twitter at BearcatUpdate_8 or watch all of our previous episodes on YouTube at KNWT 8.
Thanks for watching and have a great night.